means AI is essentially a stress test.
Yeah, that's the right way to put it. If your processes are clear, AI makes them faster and better. If your processes are unclear, AI makes the chaos faster.
Everywhere I go right now, founders are talking about AI. Some are excited, some are overwhelmed, many feel like they're already behind. But what strikes me most is this: I keep meeting companies that are doing something with AI and still not getting real results. And honestly, I've been guilty of this myself. Early on, I introduced a few tools into my own work without any real structure. It felt productive. Looking back, I was just mostly adding noise. So the question I want to explore today is AI actually an advantage for leaders, or are we just creating a new kind of chaos? Yeah, so this is a great subject. So let's start directly. Why do so many AI initiatives fail?
I think it is because most of these initiatives are treated as a technology project. But AI is not just, it's not a technology problem. It's a leadership and organizational problem. Most companies don't fail because the tools don't work. They fail because there's no clarity around how to use them.
And that matches what I've seen too. There's a pattern where the excitement comes from the top and then it just kind of disperses into the organization without anyone really owning the outcome. Everyone assumes someone else is driving it.
Yeah, exactly. And leadership fills that vacuum with urgency instead of direction, which is dangerous combination, I believe.
But what does this look like in practice?
Well, what I see is a very typical scenario. Founder attends a conference, sees what's possible, comes back and says, "Whoa, we need to do something with AI. We are already late." And everyone agrees. And then nothing happens or the wrong things happen. People start experimenting, some prompts circulate, maybe a few tools get introduced. But the problem is there's no clear goal, no structure, no direction. And after a few months, the conclusion is, well, this AI doesn't really help us.
Yeah, but I want to add something in here because I think there's also a social dynamic at play.
Mhm.
Nobody wants to be the person who slows things down. So when the founder says, "Let's go," people say yes, even if they have no idea what success looks like. There's a pressure to perform enthusiasm.
I think that's a good point. And that pressure often prevents the one conversation that actually needs to happen first. Wait, what are we trying to solve?
That's exactly a good friend of mine. He always starts a problem solving conversation with, "What are we solving for?" So that's a great problem because
Mm.
the problem starts right at the beginning. Because oftentimes we work with the wrong question.
Yeah. Most companies ask, what can I do? The better question is, what problem do we want to solve? Without that, you get activity without direction.
And I'd argue the wrong question is almost worse than no question because it generates a lot of motion that feels like progress. You're evaluating tools, running profit pilots, reporting back, but none of it's anchored in a real outcome.
Yeah, that's true. It's productive looking chaos.
Yeah, you've said before that AI amplifies what already exists in an organization. And I think that's very underrated insight in this whole conversation because it means AI is essentially a stress test.
Yeah, that's the right way to put it. If your processes are clear, AI makes them faster and better. If your processes are unclear, AI makes the chaos faster. So before you introduce AI, it's worth asking, would this process work well without AI? If the answer is no, fix the process first.
Which most people don't want to hear because fixing processes is slow and unglamorous.
Yeah, no one wants to work with processes. That's the problem.
It feels like the shortcut, but you're saying the shortcut skips something essential.
Yes. And you pay for it later. That's for sure.
So let's go deeper on the structural side. You talk about AI not as a tool, but as a structural topic. What do you mean by that?
What I mean is, most companies focus on the software and skip the questions behind that. Who makes which kind of decisions? Where can employees use AI independently and where not? What standards apply across the company? How do we handle mistakes when our AI is involved? If these questions aren't answered, people become uncertain, and uncertain people don't behave consistently.
And I'd also add that this uncertainty creates a trust gap. If employees don't know where the boundaries are, they can't make good judgment calls.
Right.
And then leadership gets frustrated when people aren't using AI properly
Mhm.
without realizing they never defined what properly means.
Yeah, absolutely right. You can't delegate execution without first delegating clarity.
And when people are uncertain, what happens?
I can see two extremes. Either they use AI secretly because they are afraid of doing it wrong in the open, or they don't use it at all because it feels too risky. Both are a problem because in neither case do you get control, consistent results.
So the secret use case is particularly interesting to me because it looks like adoption from the outside, but the organization has no visibility into it, no quality control, and no ability to learn from it. It's the worst of both worlds.
Yeah. And it's more common than most leaders realize.
But I want to talk, that's critically important because leaders need to know what's going on in their company. But I want to talk about something I think many leaders genuinely underestimate: fear, not their own fear, but the fear in their teams.
Yeah, I think you're right. Fear plays a bigger role than most people admit. Employees don't resist AI because they are against technology. They ask very reasonable questions like, will my role disappear? What do I need to learn to stay relevant? Am I still needed? If leadership doesn't address those questions directly, resistance builds, often quietly, but very effectively. My AI and leadership course gives owners and executives 45 minutes of practical, non-technical lessons you can use Monday morning. Just $39 for a limited time, risk-free for 60 days.
And I think the silence from leadership reads as a confirmation of the worst fears. If no one says anything, people assume the answer is yes, your job is at risk.
Right. Which is why communication is not a soft add-on to an AI rollout. It's a core part of the strategy. What we can see here, it's not the technology, it's the human part of communication where we need to focus on.
So this isn't just a technical rollout, it's a change project.
Yes, exactly. Like every change project, it requires clear communication, transparency, and orientation. And if that's missing, you don't just lose productivity, you lose trust. And trust is much harder to rebuild than it's to maintain.
And I've seen organizations where the technical rollout was actually quite good. The tools worked, the training happened, but morale dropped anyway because people felt like something was being done to them, not with them.
That's a leadership failure. Absolutely. Not a technology failure.
And I often hear from founders is HR should handle this. What's your take on that one?
Sorry, HR cannot replace leadership on this. HR can support, yes. They can run training, manage the people side of the transition. They can help with communication. But the direction has to come from the top. The leadership team has to clarify what's our goal? What capabilities are we building? Where are we investing time and money? And without that, HR is working without a mandate. And AI then stays a playground.
And I think the HR will handle it, or some other department will handle it in different types of companies. The response is well intentioned, but it's also a way of creating distance from a topic that feels uncomfortable. And the team notices that distance.
They always do, right?
Yeah. So let's bring it to a practical conclusion. If you had to simplify it, what should a founder clarify before introducing AI?
I believe before introducing it, you have to have three things clear. First, what should actually improve, concretely and measurable? Not we want to be more innovative, something specific. Second, what remains human responsibility? Where do you still need judgment, experience, and leadership that AI cannot replicate? And third, how do you communicate this change because transparency reduces fear and ambiguity amplifies it.
Ambiguity amplifies it. Truer words.
Yeah.
But I'd add one more thing to that list, and it's a little bit more personal. The founder has to actually use AI themselves first, not deploy it, use it. Because if you're designing an AI strategy without understanding the tool from the inside, you're operating on theory and your team's going to know the difference.
Yeah, I think that's a fair addition. And what I observe very often is there needs to be I would say, aha moment. When a leader really uses AI, not just because I played around with it, it's nice, we need to do it because everyone else is doing it, but founder is really using it and he sees, wow, amazing how more effective I am or what's possible with it here. And doing it in his own way, how he's working with some of the chatbots or something like that. That's the spark, I would say. And if you do the change project for AI, you need to think that you get this aha moment in every head, that everyone in the team should find this kind of aha moment. Then suddenly everyone is excited about AI and finds ways where to use it. If you don't have this aha moment, it gets very tough to get the AI change movement into the company. That's at least what I see in lots of companies.
Yeah, I'd like to add one more thing, another thought before we wrap up today. Recently, I've been involved in some other mastermind groups and some other client work and some of my own work on different levels of using AI, from just using the chatbot to the whole way to fully autonomous agents interacting with one another. And I have one takeaway for the listeners today. Don't be intimidated by the technology.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually not that difficult to make significant progress quickly in your understanding of the technology. And you don't have to buy a course. You don't have to courses will help speed things along. Step one, though, open ChatGPT or Claude and just ask it. I'm new with AI. Create a step-by-step lesson plan for me where I can learn the basics of AI and let AI teach you.
I like that very much, Brian, this way how you approach that. And a second thing I'd like to get as an idea is see your chatbot, if you work with that, similar like an employee. So you need to, if you want to delegate a task, you need to give context. If you don't give good context, the output is not very useful. The better context you give, we are talking about prompting here for a chatbot, which is the first part how you work with AI. That's most important. Then you have a good chance to get an aha moment, in my opinion.
Yep. So maybe the real takeaway from today is this. AI is not the advantage. Clarity is the advantage. AI just amplifies whatever system and whatever culture you already have, which means before you ask, how do I use AI? You should ask, how well do we actually lead? Because AI will give you an honest answer to that question, whether you're ready for it or not. And that's maybe the most important question every founder should sit with. Are we leading AI or is AI starting to lead us?
Very good. Well said. Thanks, Brian. Subscribe for free today at fipodcast.vip/xbzv and join thousands of leaders receiving exclusive and actionable leadership insights you won't find anywhere else. Again, that is fipodcast.vip/xbzv.